Zig is Zert. I didn't ruin it. I didn't ruin it for Dave for once.
Yeah.
What do you
I
mean?
let it. Well, because usually I kind of push him or annoy him when he's dancing.
Yeah. But I just love that beat so much. Been listening it for like over a year, but still every time it hits, it slaps like a mother.
There's actually another version of the intro that I don't think I ever played. That I'm wondering if I still have it. There's the same song, but I think it's the one that I used at New Year's, but I don't know if I ever played it for you guys.
I don't remember.
Hold on, let me play it.
It's not the
I
same
like ours
slap.
more.
Not the
Yeah.
same slap. Not
Ours
dancing
is,
to that.
ours is nice with the bass.
Yeah, you need that bass.
Yeah, this one was inspired by. It's the same like music, but the melody, but it's blended with like a Christmassy undertone.
It feels classical almost.
But yeah, well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
With Christmas stuff,
Yeah.
it tends to lean very classical music. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of GeekCypha. We are here on Free X Agents Media. We are here on GeekCypha.com, GeekCypha.com, and hopefully you guys are all enjoying this wonderful Wednesday here in wherever you are. We're in Montreal, but you guys might be some of the places we've seen people listening: India, Ireland, Thailand, United States, the UK. So we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Hopefully it's warmer wherever you are and not snowing like it is here.
Yeah, Montreal
It's ruined.
Montreal's going to have an insane snowstorm tonight after our show. Probably it might even start while we're doing this recording, and a lot of people are a little nervous about it. I know our
I have
office.
to drive home after this, so
Yeah, no, don't worry. We'll give you enough time.
I'll call you if I make it.
Oh, no, knock on wood,
As
knock
soon
on
as we
wood.
get off, you have to jet.
Yeah,
You know,
he has to like
just
run.
running.
He's gonna jump into his car. He's gonna jump out the window into his car. Hopefully, you got a good parking spot. But we are, it's the week after the Super Bowl. It's the Wednesday after the Super Bowl. So for us, that was a crazy event.
Gotta talk about that halftime.
That halftime show. Well, okay, real quick, I will say shout outs to my mom, who doesn't really like football, but for some reason was messaging me like crazy, is super proud of Mr. Hurt. I don't know.
Who's hurt?
Well, Jalen Hurt, the quarterback for the Philly.
Oh, I guess. I mean,
Or
they're
Hurts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she was just like, she's messaging me. She's like, well, Mahomes didn't bring it this and blah, blah. And my mom was shit talking these guys. And I'm like, Mom, since when do you watch football? She's just like, well, it's Black History Month, 2 black quarterbacks. I'm like, it's not even the first time this has happened. But sure, let's deep dive into your new interest into football.
I was gonna say, when was the last time you called her? Because it almost sounds like the moms who are trying to like get hip with their kids who are in high school and they don't know what they like, so they start getting like more information so they could talk on their level.
Like,
That's
educate themselves before the call.
exactly. She has her notes there.
But I mean, she sounded like she knew what she was talking about, but it was really
No,
funny.
it's a joke.
Yeah, I know. We're always teasing there.
And then also shout outs to NordVPN. They're not a sponsor, but using NordVPN to watch the Super Bowl via Tubi, because the Super Bowl was on Tubi, which is owned by Fox, and I got to watch it there, so I got to see the the real ads and stuff. So that was kind of fun. That was a fun experience. Did you guys watch the full game or just the halftime show?
I just watched the halftime. I'm very much like, to be quite honest, I just thought the Chiefs were going to win it, so I was like, whatever.
Are you a Chiefs fan?
I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I know I have so at my
Based
work,
on the history.
there's a lot of people who like it. And I had a lot of people who are like, it's their year again, 3 in a row. There's basically 2 types of people from my understanding. The people who love the Chiefs and the people who are like, they're not going to take Tom Brady's like run or whatever. Because that's the only thing I heard.
But there hasn't
no
been-
Eagles love. Just you like the Chiefs or
there's a
you
lot of
hate them
Eagles
because of Brady.
Yeah.
Supposedly there's never been a three-peat, though.
Well, the thing is, I know there's something. I don't know if it's their quarterback. There's something that's comparable to the Pats and to Tom Brady.
Okay.
And because again, I legit don't like. People are talking about it. I'm like, just
nodding, smiling, nod.
walking by. I'm like, not hockey, not basketball. I'm out. I'm not. I have nothing in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about football. Never been a fan. I tried to get into it. I tried to understand the rules, and it It's just not my thing.
You're just like, no
Which
thanks.
is like ironic because I love sports and I love watching sports and being a part of sports, but football was the one sport that I just could never get into. But anyways, the halftime show is always fun. So
Yes.
that's why I watched it. I actually watched it until the third quarter. Because that's when it started getting a bit interesting because that's when the Chiefs actually hit a touchdown.
Oh yeah, that like Hail Mary shot to Xavier Worthy. Like
I
when
don't know
he
who the player was.
Oh.
But
Yeah, there's one dude who essentially just there was one dude who like ran, like just took off. The Mahomes and his crew were like maybe at the 30 or the 40 on their side, their end, and like Xavier Worthy just took off like a bullet and went all the way to the end zone on the other end, and Mahomes just bombed it. And at that point, I was just like, oh, okay, maybe I might pay attention because that was
They're
pretty
practicing. That's like the equivalent of like the guy who shoots the basketball like 3/4 like on the other side of the of the court, and they're like in their key, and they're like boom, and you somehow get it. That's just like the thing they practice after practice for fun to see if they can.
And he did, and it was a good play. But halftime show, we have some clips. We got some. I asked a couple people around the office at work and some friends what their thoughts were on on the Super Bowl. So we're gonna play some of them. I'll play one or two, and then we could talk about it, and we can play the two more, and then talk, and then so I'll play. I think there's one of them that I played that was pretty funny. Let's see if this is the one I'm thinking of.
Kendrick's a fucking genius. And he looks fucking hot in bell bottoms.
There you go. So that was one take of the halftime show that I thought was pretty funny.
I do agree with her comment about the bell bottoms. I love bell bottoms. Specifically, but when I saw him wearing it, I was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I you know what? I want to play one of the other.
Hated it.
Yeah,
I'm going to say my comment after he says.
I'm going to try. Hopefully, this is the right clip. Hold on.
So for the whole show, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the color scheme. Because at first, when I thought either the flag or just like the three colors, my first thought was like, okay, we're doing this like pro America. But then, as like the performance carried on, I was like, oh, okay, there's like a message behind there's a message behind, especially when they made like the actual flag. So that was fun. Love the jeans, love the shoes, the overall like outfit was great.
Yeah, that's the part.
So the only thing is this, I won't lie, I didn't realize until you guys said it now, until I heard the bell bottoms thing. You showed me that clip before we started. It's gonna be embarrassing. I just thought he had bought like really long pants. I honestly thought that's what it was.
Honestly, I know some people who said the same thing. Some people were just like, those aren't bell bottoms. They're just, he wore like long jeans and they were like dragging, and I'm like, no guys, they flare out. Like you could kind of see. They don't flare out like big bell bottoms, but the jeans aren't tapered. They don't come to like, it's not a straight leg or a bootleg. It really does like open up at the end, and it looks slightly wider at the bottom than the full jean leg itself. Now I know some people are gonna be like, "Why are you staring at a man's leg? Why are you checking out how a man's leg?" But guys, you're watching the Super Bowl. You're gonna notice.
You're gonna look at all the angles.
You're gonna notice this guy's wearing jeans that are like at the bottom. Everyone noticed.
And
so
you either hated it or you loved it.
Yeah. But what I thought funny is I think it was my partner who said it. She's like, it's like the reverse of the old school style. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, and she was trying to be super sweet about it. She's like, gangster stuff, they used to have like their pants really low, and now it's like he has his pants proper, but then he puts his legs long. I'm like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. Like, that's not what he was trying to do. I bet there's something else. And now that you guys say it's bell bottoms, like, oh, yeah, I'm an idiot for not noticing this as well. But yes,
but
that's exactly
also,
what
I
it
don't know
is.
if you guys know that Kendrick has always been pretty present in the fashion industry.
Okay.
So I think he's just trying to change up the look of what's considered the stereotypical hip hop, rapper.
He's trying to do trend setting all year.
Yeah.
His first shot was at Drake. He's been trying to do it ever since. He's been owning it.
But he's always been a fashion guru, if you call it, if you
Mhm.
want, if you will. I mean, he always likes to wear, different outfits. I don't know if you notice, even in his videos, he'll always wear some cool outfits.
Mm.
So I feel like it's part of his personality.
I gotta say, when I was in high school, I had jeans like this. That's the thing. Like,
Sick.
looking at this outfit, I'm just like, I had jeans that they weren't tight, but I had grown, and I guess at the bottom they just kind of flared out a bit, and I just didn't really think about it. So when I saw him performing, I didn't think about it at all. It really was only when I got online, and so many people were reacting to the fit. I mean, we're starting with the fit because we already know what we're going to talk about, but we're starting with the fit because that's where we're going to hit it. We're going to just start with that. It's an amuse-bouche for the actual conversation of this halftime show where Kendrick did things, and this clip I think covers what we're going to go into.
I think that my impression is that somebody took full advantage of their opportunity, and I think that for some people, that means he took full advantage of another opportunity to go at Drake. And for other people, it means that he took full advantage of this opportunity to speak up for the Black experience in America. And I don't know which one that is, but it looks like either way, a full opportunity was taken. So that's what I think.
There you go. So I've had people hit me up with such interesting theories about what everything meant in that show, in that performance, and we know that Kendrick likes to be very detailed with his decisions on aesthetic and message and look. His Squabble Up video has a bunch of Easter eggs in it that references to Compton, LA, color scheme, people, like different gangs and stuff like that. So it's not impossible, because when I watched the performance, I was very much one of those people watching the performance just waiting for the line.
Yeah,
I was just waiting for the very specific thing of like, say the thing. Say the thing about Drake.
Say the thing. Oh wait, you got muted, so he made a whole stadium do it for him.
Yeah,
that was great. He didn't say the. He didn't say the word.
But
right?
not even just that. Before that part, where he hinted that he was going to play the song, and kind of just give like a little duh,
yeah,
and then stopped, which was wild,
and
then continued.
But there's no way he wasn't going to play. Anyone who thought that maybe he wouldn't play the song was like, there's no way. Like, where have you been sitting under like a rock, But at the same time, like, I think, and you said it, the word that I was looking to describe it, I just found it so Easter egg plentiful. And I was wondering, I'm like, what will be the thing that really makes someone have a reaction? And mine, the thing for me at least, was when Serena Williams got up and like tripped, walked on it, and I'm there, I'm like, oh my god, like this is like, if you know, and if you're Dre, you're crying at home. Like, so
here's the list of quote unquote subliminal messages. 1, Samuel Jackson playing Uncle Sam, aka the house nigga. He played in Django, so that was one thing.
Oh.
Samuel. Yeah, that these are, and don't forget, these are ideas that people have about the subliminal messages. These, as far as I know, haven't been confirmed. It's not like Kendrick and his team went up and said, we did this, this, and this. So just to give you, take it with a grain of salt. The second note that someone posted, Samuel Jackson warning Kendrick to play the game white America wants us to play and not be ghetto, which that was very interesting. The Squid Game stage, which symbolized the rich killing the poor, which I was just like,
I didn't see that.
I recognized the game element because there were the different, like almost like the PlayStation circle triangle, and I just didn't think at the time about Squid Games, especially because like I get Squid Games, but I'm like, Netflix Squid, like I kind of just didn't see that, but that's fine. The dancers in red, white, and blue representing the American flag. I think we all got that. That was pretty obvious. Yeah. The stage. This one I didn't realize, but when the person said it, I was just like, oh, okay, maybe. The stage also being a prison yard where black performers harmonize while Kendrick rapped.
Wow. That's a deep cut.
I didn't necessarily see it as a prison yard, but only because of the lights, I didn't think of it as a prison yard. I kind of thought of it just as a street.
But I think because of light, that's how I see it too.
Yeah, someone else was saying the way the lights were and the fact that it's not like the street had lines in it. It was just like a gray block that they were walking up and down. That's more representative of as a prison yard. And I was like, okay, so maybe. I don't know, but you know, Kendrick is Kendrick, so he might have been making that message.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
You didn't see that one?
No, I'm saying I didn't understand.
You didn't perceive it that way.
You didn't perceive that way either. Same, right. Protecting black women like Serena Williams after the disrespect from Drake. So Serena Williams coming on stage and like crip walking was a nod to like, obviously was like an F you to Drake, but also her being surrounded by her community and like being free and comfortable to perform because she's already done the crip walk at Wimbledon. And you know, got flack for it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And now in a black space, she's free to do it and celebrated for it. So that was one of the comments. And then this one, and once again reminding Drake and America they're not like us. And then the last one that I saw and everyone saw is at the end, the game over, which some people said was a nod to, you know, because the song that he played, I'm totally drawing a blank on which song it was, but the, you know, when he's telling you turn the TV off, it's just like, oh, you're saying a line like that in a song while on the biggest platform in the world, like one of the biggest platforms in the world.
I did perceive it like that too.
Telling people like turn the TV off. It's just like
kind of like what you see, turn the TV off.
Right. Because now we're here to stay in this night.
Yeah.
I also took it as a subliminal. This is just me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I took it also kind of as like it because like let's be honest. I found there was 3 main messages. One, the most important is saying that he made it. He's here. Like he is here. He's not moving anywhere. Yeah. And that like he's prideful of who he is and how of an artist he is and all that stuff. That was there. Obviously, you know, community pride was there. And then obviously through the whole thing, the Drake concept was there. And with the game over, my subliminal message from that, on top of like, I found yours was a bit more clear. Like if you don't like the channel, if you don't like, we should change it.
Yeah.
But the thing that I felt subliminal about it was Drake, I have now officially won.
Yeah.
Done hating him and stuff. But like,
I definitely saw that too.
This song is now run its course. I have won the battle between the albums. I've won the thing between us.
I've won the beef. Yeah,
I've won the beef. I've owned it. I am king. You are not like us. It's over.
Yeah, game over.
Like that's how I took it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who definitely saw that in it. And actually, I think hopefully I'm going to play the right clip because go ahead first.
I was going to say because it was part of the outfit. We forgot to mention the A chain. I don't know if you guys
I didn't even notice his chain.
Yeah, he was wearing an A letter chain, a small A letter chain.
A minor. Oh my god. Okay, let's go to this clip. That's awesome though.
I really liked it. I want to start off by saying that I'm a Kendrick stan, so I'm a huge fan of everything that he does. You know, those memes about people that whenever Kendrick says something, give him a Grammy, that's me. So I want to get that out of the way, but I really enjoyed the show. I would say maybe my only disappointment, and I wouldn't say that it was really a disappointment, is that he didn't really do any of the hits. Like it was a lot of new music, but I loved the kind of storytelling aspect of it, like how, you know, him and Samuel Jackson were kind of taking us through a narrative. So that I think it was really, really well done. The choreography, the colors, everything. I really did enjoy it. It was different from what we kind of get at the Super Bowl, where it's usually a spectacle. The last one where
So, by the way, a big shout out to all my coworkers. I didn't ask them if they wanted their names mentioned, so that's why I haven't said who was who. Ness, you know who they are, but
shout out to all of them.
Shout out to everybody.
And I wanted to add one thing for the Samuel Jackson, just because this is like one. I don't know if this is one of his things, but like Samuel Jackson has always gone on and saying, whenever I've been in a Quentin Tarantino film, it doesn't matter which role I'm taking. If you really analyze it, I'm always the smartest character.
Oh, interesting.
Like he's like if you look at Pulp Fiction, for example, even if you look at Django Unchained, like I might be the housekeeper or whatever, but I'm the smartest guy in the room. And
the Uncle Tom.
Yeah, so that's why I was also happy that he was Uncle Sam, because he's like,
that's so interesting that he considers
person.
himself the smartest person in that room.
Wait. Why did you say Uncle Tom?
Because
an Uncle Tom is like a person, like, you never heard the term Uncle Tom?
I have heard of it, but I'm wondering why you're the Uncle Tom reference, not reference, but the Uncle Tom I know is like a whitewashed black person.
Well, Uncle Tom, it wasn't. It can be that, but an Uncle Tom was also just the idea was like the one who snitched on the other slaves.
Well,
like it was the one who seeked like approval from like the white. Yeah. But actually, if I'm not mistaken, the original term for Uncle Tom has been misappropriated because Uncle Tom comes from Uncle Tom's Cabin, and there's like a whole history about how black people use the term Uncle Tom, like how like an Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks is an Uncle Tom, and the actual meaning of it wasn't that. Like Uncle Tom wasn't that to begin with. It just got misappropriated. But yeah.
But you're calling Sam Uncle Tom?
No, in Django Unchained, his character was an Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no,
because he mentioned Django, so I was just like, like when he plays like.
Okay, that's why I was like, huh, Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's. I don't consider Samuel Jackson Uncle Tom in any which way or form.
No, neither do I. I want to make it clear. I think I'm the person to get in the worst heat with this comment. I didn't say anything.
No. There's no heat.
Dave's out here calling black people Uncle Tom.
Don't, please, no.
Clip it.
No. You already put a clip out there that I'm scared of.
I do wonder how much he got paid for that, because that must have been a pretty penny.
Super Bowl performance, yeah.
Or does it? Because I know that actually, if you're asked to perform at the Super Bowl, you're actually not getting paid. Apparently.
Wow, really?
Yeah, apparently, your payment is the exposure.
Well, you're paid. You might not get paid by the Super Bowl people, but if you have, like, example, let's say you're wearing Adidas.
Oh yeah. Sure, you get sponsored.
Like you're being sponsored, 100%. Basically. That's
but
how it's working.
I meant the performance itself is not a paid performance.
But
interesting.
But I wonder if Samuel Jackson was.
I would imagine none of them are paid.
I guarantee you, Sam. Like I would say, I'm not. I don't know the guy personally, but I feel like he's someone who's done so well for himself.
I would say he'd also want to do it just because. If he was asked,
like it's someone. It's kind of like I would imagine the conversation being like Kendrick and him meeting up, being like, "You're a legend. You're a soon to be legend. Mind helping me out? Sure." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that's how it went.
No, but like because I don't know if you guys saw a lot of the behind the scene pictures, but they had a bunch of behind the scene pictures where the two of them were hanging out before they went out.
Mustard has a funny picture.
Yeah, and they all like look really happy and they're talking and it's all jovial and stuff. So I definitely get that there was a sense of I feel like Samuel Jackson would have been like, "Oh, you want to play Uncle Sam?" Like.
But that's the other thing. But think about, you don't think Samuel Jackson had fun accepting that one?
Well, of course, also because Sam is Uncle Sam.
Well,
like
exactly. Like there's a lot there.
Yeah. And that in of itself is also a commentary on black culture, because there's the whole. I don't know if you guys saw recently, but I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago. There was that whole thing on Instagram and TikTok and stuff where they were trying to figure out the different age groups for the different status in black male communities. So it's like young little niggas was like 0 to 12. Young niggas was like 13 to 24. Big brothers was 25 to something. Unk like was like my age, and then OGs were older. And Samuel Jackson is technically an OG, but because he's so adored, they're always going to call him Unk.
Yeah,
right.
But again, I just think it was a great performance. One thing I will say is, like, I know it's one of those performances where it's sad to say, I feel if you were watching it, you may have had a better view.
Oh yes,
because it was.
Yeah, if you were in the stadium, it might not have been because there was so much movement that we got to see a fun, almost like
it was like a music video.
Actually, Ness, you who works in film stuff could probably talk to like shots and like who probably designs the shots, and is it a director of photography? Is it a director? Like who? How is that?
Good question.
Because I sometimes I think about stuff like that when you're watching a sporting event, when you're watching a live concert, like when you're watching stand-up comedy, is it just a director who's just like, okay, camera two?
But I think it depends on the artist.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because that would be their team. That's,
Okay.
That's putting that together. I don't think every artist that performed, because I don't know, some years they do a lot with the camera and some years there isn't much. So
Yeah.
I really think it depends on the artist's team
Okay.
and what they want to do with, because they know that there's more people watching on TV than there are in the stadium. So I think they, especially nowadays, I feel like they care more about what's on TV, what's showing on TV.
The Rihanna year had a lot of like, a lot of camera shots. Like,
but I bet you they also had. I bet it's one of those performances where, although we didn't see it, I bet you they had like TVs set up in the stadium. So
there's the screens. Yeah.
The only thing, you know, one thing that is, and you know, one thing that's really good, because I didn't know about this until I saw it, and I was like, wow, you guys did a really good job of making sure this person had no camera time. And I'm not saying this is a good thing or a bad thing to do. It's just like you're trying to
the streaker with the Gaza and Sudan flag.
Like, I'm not saying I'm not commentating on whether or not it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that, like,
it's impressive that this person was on the field while people were dancing, but at no point in the performance do you see it because the cameras like worked around it.
And they got taken down by security, right? So you're also seeing you're not seeing a bunch of people run and tackle some dude.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I do wish that message could have been brought to the forefront a little bit, because it definitely would have coupled well with a lot of the stuff that Kendrick was talking about. But I also understand, for the security reasons of it's the Super Bowl, we have to be mindful of the people on the field and stuff like that. And also, as much as I don't respect him, if the chief of the president of the United States is at the stadium, you have to have security on lock.
Yeah.
I don't like him, but I also think that anything happening to him is far more dangerous for people than anything. So, you know, you do have to be mindful of security and stuff like that, whenever the station of the president of the United States or the station of prime minister is at an event like that. So,
and at the same time, like, you know, obviously Kendrick did a lot of work for this. I would be surprised if he was, because we were talking.
Can you imagine winning 5 Grammys one week, and then performing at the damn Super Bowl? For one song, this man won 5 Grammys for a song that's not on his album. Then proceeded to
diss track.
For a diss track.
Keep in mind, he made it within like 24 hours.
Yeah. Actually, the last clip I have does talk about that for a second. So let me play this one.
I think that it was artistically sophisticated, and that it was taking an opportunity, using a big arena figuratively and literally to spread a message that hip hop is pretty much the biggest cultural force in 4 decades. And so, you know, putting a diss track in his performance was really ballsy, but just, you know, this is hip hop culture, and that's just it. And also, Williams during the Crip Walk, during the Drake diss track, was just the cherry on top.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, she's not wrong. The idea that someone did a diss track at once, again, 5 Grammys for a diss track that, like Ness pointed out, they recorded in the span of like 24 hours, beat, record, produced, out. Wins 5 Grammys for it. One of the Grammys is for the music video, in which, like we were talking about before, has some of the most Easter eggs and most referential scenes and moments for the culture of hip hop. And
I'm really surprised though that it won that many Grammys. I'm surprised it even won a Grammy for that specific song.
The Power of Hate.
That might have to be the title. The Power of Hate. Do you think, because it's interesting that you say that, Ness, because I've heard a lot of people talk about it and say, like, my brother posted saying that he posted a bunch of stuff about his discontent with this kind of aspect of hip hop culture, that you know, he doesn't really like, that a diss track has become kind of one of the leading representations of hip hop in the moment, which I can understand. I don't agree with how he worded it, because he worded it more in an angry way, telling people who like the song they're ignorant, and I was just like, well. But I get what he's saying. Yeah. And like Ness, you're saying you agree with it. What's your sentiment when you saw that he won 5 Grammys for a song that's essentially a diss song referencing pedophilia. Like that's a wild, sad thing.
That last part.
Kendrick has won Grammys before.
Yeah.
Thankfully. So it's at least it's not something where it's like, oh, it's his first time winning a Grammy and it was for this diss track, because then I would have been pissed off.
Right.
But why
That's
I'm
a good point. That's a good point.
But why I'm surprised is because usually, especially Grammys, they're an organization that usually tries to stay away as much as possible from controversy. And I feel like this song was so controversial in regards to the content of it.
Right, of course.
Like Drake trying to sue him and all these things. So I'm a little surprised that the committee was like, yeah, this is the winner.
Let's reward.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's a very good song. It's
of course
cleverly written. It's the video is amazing. The story behind it is amazing. Kendrick is so talented. Like you can't take that. You can't deny that. But for it to win 5 Grammys, I'm not gonna lie, I was really, really, really surprised just because of the content of it.
Yeah,
and I kind of agree with what your brother's saying, in the sense that it shouldn't be, this type of song should not be the forefront of hip hop, because now it's like I'm on Team Kendrick all the way, but having this song at the top like this and promoting it in this way is kind of encouraging hate and like like
you also
like the negative element of hip hop, and rooted in the idea that and this is one of the things I say about like reality TV. If you watch a reality TV show back in the day and you notice that out of the 5 cast members, the person who acted the craziest and the most aggressive was the most famous. So the next season you get the next season you end up with 5 people who acted like that one person. So then you need someone to elevate again. So when it comes to this hip hop beef, it's like
getting worse and worse.
Yeah, because Drake has gone up against people before. He's gone up against Meek Mills. He's gone up against Pusha T, and now he's gone up against Kendrick. And one of the things my brother wrote at the end of his post was, I think he wrote like respect to J. Cole, because a lot of people have said J. Cole is the smartest person. And I will agree. I do agree that I think J. Cole in this whole beef thing is the smartest person to have said, I'm opting out. I'm not interested in...
Although he did drop a diss track.
Right, but he apologized and
then he regretted it and removed it.
But I will say, to do that takes even bigger balls in hip-hop, because hip-hop does not respect someone backing down.
I don't forgive that.
And the fact that after all of it, when the dust started to settle, Not Like Us dropped, BBL Drizzy was still playing, and everyone said, well, shit, the smartest person in the room was J. Cole, because this man just said, forget it, and duck out of this whole beef.
He was like, I don't want to step into
he's like, I don't want strays, I don't want anything, I'm done. And he didn't get any. Like, I don't think after he backed out, no one came for him.
Yeah, that's true.
He walked out of... No, go. I was going to make a crappy joke. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think the performance was amazing. Kendrick's always so good at storytelling. The only downside I would say was I wish there were more visuals. I feel like I'm used to having more going on.
Okay.
Just based on the last, like, I don't know, decade of Super Bowl performances, it's usually a lot more extravagant.
Right.
And I get
because the Usher one had a lot of Usher, the Dr. Dre,
the J-Lo one, the Justin Timberlake, Rihanna, like they all had extravagant like visuals and which don't get me wrong.
Slips?
No, nipple slips.
Because you said Justin Timberlake last, like I couldn't not take this the low.
Oh, I forgot about that. No, but I'm talking about his most recent one.
Okay, sorry.
He did one on his own.
Not the one where he disrespected everybody.
But yeah,
not the one where he has a small wee and everyone makes fun of him for it now.
I don't know.
Justin, they saw your wee and they didn't like it.
Oh my god.
But I think Kendrick did a Grammy performance years ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, 2016.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
was a very powerful experience,
Yeah.
powerful performance. I mean, but it was
I mean, both
really,
apply.
really-
You're not wrong. Both apply.
both apply. But I'm
Yeah.
saying in that one, the difference with that one is he had kind of like a skit and like actors. Like it looked
Yeah.
a bit like
There was
a
like
theater
fire in the background. And,
performance, yeah. Whereas this one was just like he had amazing dancers and choreography was amazing as well. So were the fits, but
yeah.
like like I don't know. I feel like it was missing a bit of that.
But you know what? Not to cut you off, but I think the reason why he did that is to really focus on the message.
Oh, that's possible.
Like now you had nothing to be distracted by.
That's possible.
You had to focus on what was going on in order to make your message go through.
Like
you made something simplistic.
Yeah, like Serena doing the crip walk was like, I don't want you looking anywhere else but at the fact that this is Serena Williams doing the crip walk.
But that was also a diss at Drake. Like,
yeah, I know.
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
using that as an example, but he had so many.
Diss at Drake, whereas like it should have been more about Black excellence, Kendrick celebrating his talent.
But,
rather than just like dissing Drake.
And can I ask a very dumb question, because you guys know I don't necessarily follow this music perfectly.
No question is dumb.
Thank you. Anytime someone says that to me now, I get annoyed.
Because the person may be super popular, but I just live on a rock when it comes to hip hop.
All right, that's right.
Who is the girl on All in
SZA.
Red? Okay, because I was there. I'm like, I know this voice, but I have no idea who you are, and I wasn't going to start like researching and stuff.
She did All the Stars for Black Panther with Kendrick. That's
where it is.
Yeah,
and like I know that voice. I knew it.
And she did Luther on his new album.
Okay.
Snooze?
Suits? No, I did not.
Snooze.
Snooze. Sorry, Snooze.
I was gonna say I was giving him things that I thought he might know.
That's probably her biggest.
Don't embarrass me more about the fact that I'm culture inept. Like, don't talk to me about geography. Don't talk to me about cultures. I will lose those in trivia games.
I will say this:
I don't listen to country, so some people listen to R&B.
She was giving you like her most popular track, which you still didn't recognize.
No,
so that's
I'm
okay.
Sorry.
It was just funny though. Yeah,
but I try. I have said intelligent hip hop things on this show before. I just want to say that out loud. I have said very intelligent things when I do.
Yes, you have, buddy.
Hey,
yes, you have.
Hey, I did the mystical thing, and you guys almost wanted to kick me out of the room because like that's too smart. So I'm just gonna say that out loud.
I guess final thoughts, real quick on this before we move on to other stuff. Dave, I'll let you go.
I think it was great and entertaining, and I think it is a good minus. Like, I understand you don't want to focus on diss tracks and stuff.
Yeah, I
just like the fact that it was like a good moment for the culture, and it was a good moment to be like I like the game over concept. Yeah, I like the game over on all aspects of what it meant.
I was gonna say, Ness, you?
I agree with that. I think it was nicely done. He definitely got the message across. And shout out to SZA because that was her first Super Bowl performance. And she's still a relatively new artist. So shout out to her. I think they're both great artists. And this is going to be amazing for their world tour coming up.
Yeah.
So
those ticket sales must be crazy right now.
Yeah. And it was really nice to see an all black performance for the Super Bowl. Yeah. That's something I feel like is so rare. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So
did Usher? I don't know if he had. Oh, like you mean like even the dancer?
Actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, because I'm saying this performance was all. There was not one non-black
person. Yeah.
It was fully black.
Blackity black. So. Like I love those. All the people posting like every movie or like meme of people being like Black Power, like like people are doing things like before watching Kendrick's Super Bowl show, and it's just them sitting watching, and then after, and it's like them with kente cloth and like the hat, and they're just like Black Power. I always think that stuff is funny. I think Dave said the thing that I was going to say, and Ness, you echoed it as well. In the end, I thought the performance was great. The one thing I will add, I will agree with one of the clips that we heard. I do wish some of the bigger tracks had been played, but I understand that they might have been played the last time he had the chance to perform, like King Kunta and stuff like that. Like I get why some of those tracks didn't get played. I will say the other thing is, game over. I actually hope that, and I think everyone in the zeitgeist is on the same page with the idea much like my brother was saying, much like Ness, you're saying it, Dave. Even if we are at different phases of how we feel about a diss track being at that level, I think we can all agree whether or not we like that the diss track is at the forefront of hip hop or we don't like it. The game over statement should hold, and it's just done now.
Yeah.
You got the Grammys. You did it at the Super Bowl. We let it rest.
Yeah.
And I think everyone can be okay with that.
Yeah, let's move on now.
I feel if either one of them do it, like example, let's say
No. Even we will move on.
All right. No, it's just, I was gonna say
you were gonna say something about Drake.
No, I wasn't. I was gonna say something about both
Let him
of
say
them.
his point.
No, he's gonna say something about both of them. But I want to move up. Okay, go ahead.
This story is, if Kendrick does it, then it looks like he's being a lush and going too far with it. And if Drake does it, he looks like the biggest sore loser ever. If they do anything beyond this point. Like that's what I mean by it has to be enough. Because if you keep doing it, it's good. I don't think it's bad publicity. It's actual real bad publicity. It's not like any publicity is good publicity. I think it's winning. You'll tarnish yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
If you continue.
You won the five statues. You performed it on the world's biggest stage.
You're done.
You said game over.
No.
In news, speaking of it's over, Pharrell Williams cancels his musical biopic directed by Michel Gondry. Can I ask a question?
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, thank you.
That was number one I was gonna say.
I was gonna say because I heard. I thought the Lego movie was the biopic.
I'm confused.
And then I saw this article about how Pharrell made a musical with all these people in it, and that supposedly had already been filmed. It's been filmed, guys. And it had the project in question is Golden, originally titled Atlantis, directed by Gondry, who did a lot. I know a lot of people know him from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It was set for a wide release by Universal Pictures in May. It featured Oscar winner Calvin Harris Jr., Halle Bailey, Divine Joy Randolph, Brian Tyree Henry, Janelle Monáe, Missy Elliott, Quinta Bronson, Anderson Paak, Jabuki Young White. All these people were going to be in this project, and supposedly they came at an impasse during the editing process, and the project has been
unplugged,
shuttered. Yeah, it's not good.
What can I say?
They're shelving the film completely.
Can I say one thing though? How old is Pharrell now?
Well, he's a vampire, so the age is.
Huh?
Or maybe he's in his 50s, I think.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
No, because I was going to say.
But also, he's a vampire.
But yeah, because he does not look like he's 50.
51.
I feel that's I don't want to say it's too soon, but
okay.
I was more shocked about the fact my really came from the concept of you're kind of too. I don't want to say he's too young, but usually biopics are supposed to be when you're past.
You know what though?
You're past your prime, and he ain't any of those things.
I get the point you're making though, because he's 51 now. The time it took them to make this film, the last 2 years, maybe a year. So he was 49, 50. So maybe it was his midlife thing to be I got to tell my story, because to me, it's really weird to have two films about your life.
But I don't understand
why. Which one's the Lego one again?
The Lego one came out last year.
And it's just about Pharrell?
Not even a couple of months ago.
Okay, I didn't watch it.
I know I was being nice when I said last year, but it's less than 6-7 months maybe.
Oh geez, I didn't.
But I don't understand why they went into full production, filmed it, and now they're let's scrap it. I don't understand.
Supposedly they came at an impasse for editing. Him and going.
But what does that mean? I feel there's something
that
missing.
means the director did not. The director wanted to add or not remove something, whereas he did, or if you were right about it was a midlife crisis, he probably went halfway through and made this is a bad idea because I shouldn't be sending this out right now. And I'll do it at a later time.
What could have been so bad, for them to pull the plug?
And this is why whenever you sign on as a director for some of these movies with certain people, you need to get in writing final approval so that they can't fight you, because I'm sure Pharrell and Gondry had this kind of potentially gentleman's agreement on okay, we'll make the film together and you will sign off on this and
cigarettes like this
and Pharrell's just yeah man, we're gonna make this album and it's gonna be great, and yeah, I got this vision for my childhood, and then Gondry is just like, okay, and then okay, it's final approval, and then that's not what happened, because obviously, if you don't get final approval and you do a movie like this, where like Dave is saying, someone wants to cut something or someone wants to include something, and you can't agree.
It seems like he just didn't choose the right director.
or Gondry chose their own subject. I don't think Pharrell needed another movie, so that's more why I'm leaning on this is Pharrell's fault. But I don't know.
Did you watch the Lego movie?
No, I still haven't checked it out yet. I have to. I know
it's a documentary, so it's
I
not
know. Yeah,
really
I know it's not a bup. Yeah, but I mean, the documentary is about him and his relationship to music throughout his career, right? Like, I don't see what you would cover in the documentary that a biopic isn't going to also cover.
Well, a biopic is more a story. You're seeing the story play out,
right?
Yeah. But there could be one has exaggerations and one does not have. That's supposed to be it.
But my thing, much like you were saying, Ness, you don't need both of them within 1 year. That's crazy.
Yeah,
why would you? Why would you do a documentary about your life with Lego?
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. I honestly, when I saw it, I wanted to send it to you immediately, but I actually thought, you know what, save it for the podcast because then we could just discuss it. And seeing your live reaction of like, what, is more fun to me.
But I was actually disappointed that the Lego movie wasn't a biopic. When I found out that was a documentary, I was like, what?
Yeah.
A lot of question marks here.
Yeah. Michel Gondry should have directed the Lego biopic one, and then that would have been interesting.
You want to do
they could have still done a documentary, like a real documentary.
Yeah.
It's just that Gondry did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, so I would only imagine how much fun he'd have doing like a Lego movie. It'd probably be so wild to have him do something like that. Colman Domingo says he would not want to play Kang.
Bad association.
Yeah, when he was asked about his, because he's been in Spider-Man, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man recently, and Norman Osborn, fantastic. He recently did an interview where he was asked about, have you had conversations with the folks over at Marvel? And because at some point your name was at the top of the list for Kang, and in that he said, it got to the point where even I had to reach out to my people and say, hey, are you guys having conversations that I don't know about? And they were just like, no, we're seeing this online the same way you are. And he's just like, are you sure? Or are you just hiding it from me because nothing's in writing yet? They're like, no, we would tell you. And he's just like, okay, maybe let's reach out to them to see let's gauge their interest in this, and not necessarily specifically for the Kang thing, but just because he was interested in the potential of doing a live action
performance with Marvel. Who wouldn't want to?
I mean, some people might not want to at this point, but yeah.
Okay, well, sorry. My comment comes from the first 20.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
But yeah, so he, they went in, they had meetings, and the Kang thing did come up, and he said on his end, I don't know if they offered it to him or if it just came up that people have been talking about it, but he said he would prefer to be able to do a role that starts from the ground up.
Which I get that. I agree with that. Especially someone like Colman. He's so talented.
But it's really hard because it's one thing to take over, example, if I were to use an example, when the guy had to take over Dumbledore when they were doing the Harry Potters, there's a difference, right? Someone passed away and then you're taking it over. But when it's the scenario that we're currently in, where, okay, well, this guy, some shady stuff happened, we had to kick him off. And then you're sitting there, you're like, okay, well, there's a bad association with this name and this character in general.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you're kind of sitting there, you're like, this, because at that time also, it's like, you did a lot of work now to build what people should be perceiving how Kang is.
Yeah.
And most artists kind of want to have their own.
I get what you're saying.
So he won't be able to do that because he has to follow the flow. He has to follow two flows, right? He has to follow the flow of what does Marvel want me to do?
Yeah. It's like,
how can I make sure I'm still believable that I'm this character that Majors created?
Yeah. It's like in television, when you direct the pilot, you set the tone for how the show has to look from that moment on. So yeah, Jonathan Majors set the foundation, and Domingo would have to come in and how wouldn't have necessarily as much leeway, which is true. Very, very true. And I agree with you, Ness. Like Colman Domingo is a fantastic actor, and I would love the opportunity to see him take a role in like he said.
Yeah, because I think he's a little overqualified. If I should
to be a replacement,
overqualified for Marvel. Look at
no, to be a replacement.
Okay, what are your thoughts on Don Cheadle then? Because Don Cheadle had to run in and replace for Terrence Howard.
True.
Because I would say Don Cheadle is because
he's also kind of overqualified, but I feel like Don Cheadle is kind of in that awkward stage of his career right now where he's probably just trying to get something.
Well, I brought him up because he's supposed to be the lead in Armor Wars, and the last update that we got is from Nate Moore, who is one of the producers, and he supposedly said that's not my project. He's actually Nate Moore, which is I didn't know if for those of you who know Nate Moore's name or don't recognize his name, he's the one that worked on Black Panther. He was the one that was at the MCU when the old boss was there, Ike Perlmutter or whatever, the guy that didn't think women or black characters could sell
and stuff,
and was like actively blocking the production of those movies. And Nate came up in that era, but finally when Feige got in the chair, Nate was given the go ahead for Black Panther, and we got a fantastic film. And then Armor Wars was supposed to be a project. It was originally supposed to be a TV series, and then for budgetary reasons they decided to make it a movie, and now it's we've heard back and forth for a bit, and we haven't gotten any major updates. And then when he was asked about it, he said, that's not my project. Nate Moore is also actually leaving Marvel now so he can work on projects outside of the Disney family.
And that sucks because, to be quite honest, like, and I'm not trying to hate on Terrence because I know there was like a lot of controversy on his side about what was going on at that time, or it looked like it.
I won't deny Terrence Howard does make the valid point that because of how he was the first one to sign on for the first Iron Man movie, and when the movie did well, he was just like, well, I'm getting a bump, right? And they were just like, no. And he was just like, but I'm the first one who signed on, and I like my name attached to this helped other people come on to the project.
Right.
And they were just like, we would rather lose you and pay someone else.
Which is not cool. Which is not cool. But I will say, if you would have put it out on like paper, like let's say you had put them list side by side, I would have taken Cheadle way before him in that role.
Yes, I would have taken Cheadle before Terrence Howard originally.
Yeah.
But
if
Terrence agreed to it because no one believed in it.
Yeah. I agree on that.
Yeah,
like, I agree on that.
He was an interesting choice.
Yeah,
yeah,
and because the thing is, like, again, I'm not trying to hate on him as an actor or anything like that.
You can just tell us you hate Terrence Howard.
No,
because he's a mathematician, and
no,
you don't like mathematicians.
I'm an accountant, bro.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that, like, just like his type of demeanor, his soft-spoken voice, like nothing about that speaks to me as the character of War Machine. Whereas, like, when
that's what I'm saying, I feel like he was a random pick.
Yeah, because like when you see Cheadle in Hotel Rwanda, the type of passion that he had in that type of movie, and that, like, that's what that was to me. It's like that, seeing that, I'm like, he could be more War Machine. And then, not saying like War Machine needs to be as Hotel Rwanda is a very impactful film in itself, but I'm just saying the characteristics and the traits of that character that he was playing, or is Hotel Rwanda is like technically based on true person, or is it just a true event?
You're asking the wrong person.
Regardless, the point is that the characteristics of the character that he was playing is so War Machine. Just instead of being Rwandan, he's American and doesn't have an accent and stuff.
Yeah, my thing. Yeah, I like Cheadle a lot. House of Lies, his show that he had for 4 years with Belle. Veronica Mars and what's her name, Ben Schwartz, and that cast is fantastic on that show. And as the lead of that, he did a great job. He's also in Crash. He has a bunch of films where he really has the depth and brings a whole kind of energy to his performances. So I'm just sad that he keeps getting kind of like
sacked.
Yeah, he keeps getting fucked over, essentially.
We're past the 5-minute mark. You say
no, he keeps getting fucked over because he comes into this role as the backup. So he has to prove himself. He proves himself
Easily.
well beyond anyone's. He does a fantastic job. He continues in the role. He gets to Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is horrible.
He was a good part.
He was a good part. He was a fantastic part, but it's horrible.
Yeah, I'm not denying.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier before that, he was also very good in the first episode.
Yep.
The small amount of things that he did. But yeah, and then now that Armor War is supposed to play out, and I think one of the things that hindered Armor Wars is like, oh, he's a Skrull in Secret Invasion, and that might affect the story we want to tell. So we have to be mindful of how we write this story. Oh, and then his legs got injured. Like, we don't know if the version of him we're seeing is after he got shot from when he gets shot in Infinity War or Civil War.
You do that in you could do a memory moment and fix all that.
I totally agree. I'm just saying, when he's been kind of pushed around for this role, and for him to finally star, and for him to finally get the opportunity to play Rhodey in the Armor War and have the lead, and Riri's going to be there because her show is coming, which people don't really talk about a lot, which I'm a little concerned about because it's supposed to be this year. Riri Williams.
Oh, really?
Ironheart is supposed to be coming out in 2025. Am I wrong?
But you just answered the question why maybe they scrapped it, because maybe they're like, we don't want an Iron Man and an Iron Woman. You know what I mean?
But
because
that's part of the universe. Why would you?
I'm not denying it. I'm saying what they're politicking in that.
Well, they're doing it wrong.
I'm not saying
give Riri the damn shit. So Riri's show is supposed to drop June 24th, 2025. So she's supposed to be coming out this summer. Just a couple weeks before Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. So, we're going to have episodes of that show. We're going to have Fantastic Four, and we still don't have Armor Wars.
You know what would be a shitty reason? And I thought of this now, and I'd really hate if I was right in the sense, but we'll never know. I would hope that they wouldn't say something, there's too many people of color that would be on the Avengers team. Because if you think about it, it would have been Black Panther, Riri, him, potentially Blade. That'd be very rude.
Dave.
I'm sorry.
No. You're saying the quiet part out loud, and I'm happy you said it, because this is a moment of allyship that I respect.
I'm just saying,
because you're seeing the politicking that Ness and I already knew, that Sam Wilson is a black man. Riri is probably going to end up with the kids, but Riri is there. You have Don Cheadle, who's supposed to be Rhodes. You have even Falcon's sidekick is Latino,
and Falcon. How can I forget Falcon as well in that list?
The new Falcon and Sam Wilson's Captain America are both people of color. The team is going to mostly be people of color. You have Photon or Monica Rambeau.
It should be.
Yeah, the Mighty Avengers comic book run was essentially a predominantly black team, Avengers team. And it was a great comic book, and it ran for quite a bit.
Diverse in general to represent.
Yeah, because it's supposed to represent
population.
Yeah, hate on the original Avengers movies, but the fact that all of your team was just white blonde people was like, well, this seems unrealistic about America.
Because then you'd have Namor, who would potentially be a bad guy, then bringing Storm into the mix. There's a lot of things that they could have not liked because
Well, it's not even that they don't like it. We heard what Disney had to say recently. Iger, said we need to get back to telling stories and focus on stories and not
diversity or whatever.
Well, yeah, however he worded it, essentially was just like, fuck DEI, we're going back to telling y'all going back to the neckbeards and giving you what you want. It's like, come on, Iger, that's not what you needed to do, especially since you're the one that started these initiatives and people had a little bit of respect for you. But sure, let's pretend. And
respect doesn't get me money. Sorry. That was made too rude.
Hey, Dave is saying the quiet parts out loud, y'all. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm on my soapbox. I'm bouncing back from that Terrence Howard comment. Let's do this.
Oh my god. But yeah, so I hope this gets fixed soon, because I would like to see Armor Wars, and I would like to see Rhodey, and I know they're bringing back Downey Jr. for Doom or whatever. He better not be a part of the Armor Wars. I'm really scared that one of the reasons that they're holding off is because they want Downey to play a part in it in some way. And I'm like, please, God, no.
If he's like those like because remember he did like the video camera for his kid and did like if he's like memory camera capsules, I could handle it, but not a character.
And if they hired him to just be the voice of Riri's AI like he is in the comic book,
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I would say that. Comic book accurate.
Yeah,
sold.
Exactly.
But if they put this man back to work in a suit, flying around, I'm gonna be like,
imagine they fix everything up and he comes back from the day. He's like, "Thank you guys." He just walks in and takes their suits, like complete disrespect.
I'm so scared.
And that's what he meant. That's what Iger meant. He's like, "I'm trying to bring reality to the screen." Like, imagine, like,
oh my
nothing
god,
but hate.
I actually shout outs to the people
now with Marvel.
Yeah. I am. I was mentioning to some of the people who are crossover because I was there. Ryan North is there. Was signing autographs today in Montreal.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I went and
a few people who work there.
Yeah, all of they honestly, I really have to talk to them to get sponsored because we know all of them. Yeah. They know all of us. So.
I've known them. I've known Ray since 12 years old.
Yeah. He was saying
he was in school. He was actually so nerdy in school that he actually did the thing where you had like the history book. And he had the comic book inside, and we're like, dude,
And then I know Ray from university, which is another like almost 20 years now because I graduated like almost 20 years ago. So we've both known the guy so long, and so I really do have to hit him up and be like, hey man, we want to put crossover like right here on the screen.
Any day of the week.
Next to Ness or next to our logo and just be like crossover comic. Anyways, all this to say, I was there, I was at the shop, and I was showing them that we just posted a clip on our YouTube channel where I named the title on the clip and I made an image. I almost wish I could share the image, but I don't think I have enough time to share the image and show you guys. But the image is Truth, Justice, and the Great Again Way. The anti-deification of hero movies, and it's a picture of Captain America. It's a picture of I'm gonna put it up. But it's like a picture of the Superman and the Fantastic Four, and with the American flag in the background. And it really had me. It's the stuff that I was saying last week as a joke. It's that clip of me going like, they want it to go back to the 60s. And when I mentioned this to the people at Crossover, they were just like, yeah. Like, they said the same thing. They said the exact same thing, and I thought I was being crazy. And they're just like, no. I think we all know that's what they're doing. Do you not think that's what they're doing? I'm like, no, I think that's what they're doing. Like, yeah, we all think that's what they're doing. And I'm like, oh, my God, I thought I was the only one. And they were just laughing. They're like, no, man, this is like what they're doing. We get it. We understand that they are trying to go back to the greater times and a better day. And I was like, oh. This just feels dirty.
Yeah, it's funny because definitely the people at Crossover can feel that they actually have proper diversity in that shop.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
They actually genuinely have that, which is fun.
That's one of the reasons I love going to that shop because that shop feels like how I always wish comic book shops felt. But yeah, this is the cover: Truth, Justice, and the Great Again Way. And you guys can watch that clip after the episode if you want.
Cool. Cool cover.
Thank you. I'm trying to get better at some
really
of these. I want these covers to pop so that the kids go, "Oh my God, what's this about?"
Only them kids.
What else? Well, not just kids. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't mind a few younger people watching. I love our fans. It's just that when I see our demographic is always like the 30 and up, I'm
starting
just like,
to scroll at the top end range.
Hey, yeah, but that's because it's
our age,
your age group.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm not offended.
That's why we brought Ness here. That's why we got you on. Like, that's why you're here.
Yeah, but even Ness is getting closer to that age range.
Hey, whoa. Hey.
I won't say your age again because it's not polite to say someone's age. Not yet, but
not that there's anything wrong with being freaking above that number.
Homie,
I actually 30 is horrible. 40 though, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm looking forward to 30s.
I
feel like it's the golden years.
30 was a lot of fun, so I can never. I had a blast in my 30s.
You're smart enough to have fun, but not stupid enough to fuck it up.
Yeah, that's it.
And you have the money to do it too.
Ness is just like, challenge accepted.
I'm going to the limit.
Oh my God. So in the last few minutes, I don't know about you guys. I wanted to mention real quick. I got to see One of Them Days. Speaking of SZA,
and
I loved it. It's such a good movie.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so
I didn't know that you guys were gonna watch it. I would have brought it up.
I really, really wanted to see it earlier, and the timeline just didn't work out for me to see it earlier, and so I only got to see it last night. I thought the film was so funny. I think the story it felt there's a lot of like throwbacks to like and nods to Friday and stuff like that, which is obviously inspiration for that kind of like two buddies down on their luck.
Having a bad day.
We've seen it with like pothead movies. Dude, Where's My Car? We've seen it with like black movies with like Friday After Next. So and when I was watching the film, my partner was saying to me like, "Oh yeah, people are saying it's going to be a cult classic," and I'm like, "Yeah, it makes me feel." I mean, in the black community, we knew it was going to be a cult classic because it's already. Fans of Issa as a producer and Lamont the director, if I'm not mistaken, is his name.
I actually don't know him, but
then you have Keke Palmer and SZA. Like, dude, like those two alone, you're gonna get huge amount of people who are interested in seeing the film. So, and the story is great. The story is
Palmer.
Oh, she's so fantastic. Like her and
Lawrence Lamont, that's his name.
Well, yeah. So, that like when my partner said it to me, I was just like, yeah, I would say if you had a night where you watch Friday, Barbershop, and that movie, one of them days, it's kind of like a perfect like black movie night.
It's like a modern day version of those.
Yes. So I was really excited. And the movie is now out on digital. So if you guys are looking to see it, if you can still see it in theaters, I highly recommend it. I saw it on Tuesday in a packed theater, and everyone was having a blast. It was good energy. People were laughing. And of course, there was always those. I thought it was so funny and so cheesy, but when the two girls are like reconciling, because not a spoiler, because that always happens on those movies. Yeah. Because there's always a fight and they always reconcile.
There's always
a
climax.
But then when they're both saying like, "Girl, I got you," and everyone, all the women in the theater were like, "Oh," I heard it and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like an audible sound effect, as if someone pressed a button and it went. Oh, and I was like, all right, you guys are so.
But honestly, Keke and SZA, SZA, by the way, really impressed me because this is her debut.
I think it was her debut because I've never seen anything else.
I was really impressed with her acting, and I think her and Keke have amazing chemistry.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I think they're friends in real life, and I've seen a few interviews of her, SZA, and Issa. Actually,
the Hot Ones one.
Yeah, they did Hot Ones. They did a few
a few
like fun YouTube videos together, and their chemistry is just unmatched.
Yeah. Great chemistry. Honestly, if you guys have a chance to watch our Hot Ones one, I would highly recommend it because some of the questions they ask each other. And like,
it's the Hot One versus
and like at one point there's like ex relationships come up and one of them just like, "You bitch." It's like, it's so well done. Oh, sorry.
You can tell they all know each other or they've gotten to know each other, so it was all their interviews are like that. They're all like super fun and their chemistry is great.
I think one of my favorite questions was, who was the least out of these three people, who was the least the person you liked working with the least or something?
Oh yeah.
And then
decided not to answer.
And SZA wouldn't answer. And Issa Rae was just like, "You could have just said Justin Bieber." Like, and it's so
you have to eat the Hot Ones, but she outs you anyway.
And everyone starts cracking up because it's just so funny how she did it. Where it was just like,
I think it's because she asked her like, what out of all these features, like the artists that you worked with, like who was the worst one to work with? And I think Justin Bieber was the only
white one. Yeah.
It was the only
he was the only non-black person. You're right. Yeah. But it was just so funny. It was so well done.
But obviously it was a joke.
Yeah. But
Bieber's crying.
Yeah. Issa Rae just had such good comedic timing in that moment. Like, it was just so perfect, and that's what makes her such a good writer. Even though she didn't write this film, she produced it. But that's what really. I thought she wrote the film, but
what's the name of the film again?
One of Them Days.
One of Them.
Yeah. So if you have a chance,
watch it.
Yeah, highly recommend. Highly recommend. And then we were going to talk a little bit about Spider-Man if we have time. Ness, I don't know if you're caught up on.
No, I'm at episode 5.
Oh, okay. So you're not that far behind.
Well, there's
So that's
still, like,
basically. So you didn't see any of this week, basically. That's all.
well, I didn't watch episode 5 yet. I'm like
Oh.
at episode 5.
That's okay though, because
Well, so what was the last thing you saw? We'll just censor ourselves.
The last thing I saw was
I mean, I'm okay to review without spoiling stuff. I
watched
Go
it
on.
last week.
so you
But
already
I
you
don't
know
understand, why is it dropping so quickly?
yo, okay.
That's exactly.
We can
our
talk about
Because I
that
feel
for
like
a
I'm like
second.
I feel
We-
like every time I go to it, I'm like,
Yes.
oh shit, there's like 3 more episodes.
I am almost wondering if they just didn't want to compete with Invincible. Because
Yeah,
Invincible
but-
season 3 dropped at the exact same time. It's out right now, and it's going week to week like it usually does. And you guys over at Disney Marvel are dropping one of your biggest IPs in chunks of 3 episodes, and there's only going to be
me.
But do they?
Yeah.
Do they have anything? This is something I was wondering when we were talking about it slightly before the show.
Mhm.
Do they? Because like hypothetically speaking, Spider-Man will be done by the end of the month.
yes at this rate.
Is there anything big that Marvel and or Disney is releasing in March? Like, is there like a Star Wars thing, or because it's not a movie, right? Because unless for some weird reason,
I mean, they do have a movie. They have
the Captain America is like tomorrow,
right.
Well, tomorrow, depending when you're watching this, it's this
It's
week.
coming out this week, but
then you
this
you
friendly
have to
neighbor-
be done. This would have to be done.
well, it's going to be done because the next group comes out next week. So by the time like the this is done, it'll only be the first week of.
But if that's the case, like the only way that would make sense is if there's some type of reference.
No,
Like
there
there's some
wouldn't
type,
be.
which there shouldn't be.
No,
That's
there's
the
not
only thing
going to
that's weird. It's like it's almost because they're acting like there's something else they need to get out,
Yes,
and
That's
that
fair.
doesn't make sense. 'Cause there's nothing. Again, like, unless like I don't know, unless they're secretly making a Mandalorian season 4 or something like that. They didn't mention or something like that, because it's the only reason why Disney would rush. Because if you have the movie, because now if anything, you're kind of we've always said they're oversaturating, but now
maybe it's the Marvel Zombies, a spin-off of What If, because that's supposedly coming in 2035.
Oh, who knows? Because the thing is this, right? We've always been saying you've oversaturated, slow down. They finally did that, but then there's like this weird push right now.
February 7th, Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Secret Lives of Cheerleaders on the 10th. Harlem Ice on the 12th. Yep, it is.
No, sorry, I was just recapping what I saw. It was the episode where he was trying on suits.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one.
Which was it was an entertaining episode.
Yeah,
I like
because it was kind of like a little nod to some of the other suits and like other characters. Like
I was gonna say more other characters. I feel like there's other comparisons, and it was also funny because it's like it kind of goes to show that's like no one could be Spider-Man but Peter, because whoever else is trying to do it can't do it type thing.
Yeah,
which I liked. Although the thing that kind of sucked is like, it's clearly something shady's going on with Osborn at that time.
Yeah.
It's very clear and I don't want to spoil anything for you, Nessa, but there's like an incident where Peter questions something and then you see it that Norman's looking at that something at one point, and you're like, like you look sus. Like clearly you look sus. You are Norman Osborn. I'd be surprised in this universe if you don't become the Green Goblin and stuff.
Yeah, obviously.
So
he already acted sus when he came. I already found
100%.
Yeah.
Them going to the restaurant and no one being there, that was like there's suspicion right away. Like, who does this for a freaking kid? Even like this is just weird.
I know, it was almost creepy if I'm being honest. When I saw it, I was just like, what is this Pretty Woman type scene but for a 15-year-old? Like,
looks like he's grooming him.
yeah. He is honestly.
He kind of is.
Honestly, he is grooming him. He is grooming him.
He's grooming him to use him. But not in an A minor way.
You know what?
I'm on fire.
I'm not even going to touch the line. I'm not even going to touch the line. I'm going to let you have it. This wild child. But yeah, so I mean, the story continues. I will say, this is I don't know if this is a spoiler for you, but it's been all over the internet. Charlie Cox.
You guys can.
Yeah, Charlie Cox comes back to do the voice of Daredevil in the latest in one of the episodes that dropped.
Yeah.
So, which was really, really cool.
It's fun.
the fight scene between Spider-Man and Daredevil was so much fun to watch. So that's the thing. This is one of the reasons that I'm a little disappointed. The show is plowing through their episodes
but they also used to drop everything at once, right?
Yeah, but there's a reason they stopped doing that. They want people to subscribe longer. Like if you subscribed for a 1 month trial, you were able to watch all of Spider-Man in February. Like Black History Month should be Spider-Man month.
The episodes are not like
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why, because of all the race bending and changes that they've done with so many characters.
I wish that's why they were doing it when it's Black History Month and they're just like, look, it's that versus this version of New York.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Ness, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they're also like they're not like 20 minute. They're not 20-minute episodes. They're 30 minutes.
Yeah, some of them are a little longer.
So
Yeah,
30, yeah.
So even if I wanted to binge it, it's like they're 30-minute episodes.
But can I ask you guys a question? I know we suggested maybe we'll talk about this, and if you don't have enough time, we don't have to. But how do you guys feel about all the swapping of culture and gender? And
you've heard me say it before. I don't think you need to do it. This
much, I mean, like I don't mind doing some.
I don't
feel
think
like almost every other character is being done that way.
So I'll say this: I don't want it done at all. I'll never. I understand people say, "Oh, we're doing it because we didn't have enough characters." I just think that there are stories you can tell with new characters, and you can use Spider-Man as a launching pad to do so, because Spider-Man is so popular that people will watch it no matter what. You don't need to race bend Doc Connors. You don't need to race bend Norman Osborn, even though some people have made the joke Norman Osborn was always black because of the hair. But the thing I do respect is what they are doing for some of the characters, which is this is an alternate reality. Peter Parker is not going to Midtown. He didn't end up hanging out with Ned and Mary Jane. He instead is with Nico and with Lincoln, Lonnie Lincoln, and Pearl. And that school happens to have these people, and that school just happens to be diverse.
Which that's fine, because that's not doing.
Yeah, they're not race bending or gender bending anybody. That's just the school he's in. Yeah. So for the other characters, I'm just like, okay, I don't really see why you needed to do that and have him at this school, because it kind of feels like you're putting a hat on a hat. He was already going to be in a diverse place. He was already going to interact with different people. You were giving us what we needed in the sense that New York doesn't look the way it has in all those other Spider-Man cartoons. New York looks like this in some areas, especially where he's from.
Yeah, especially
So that's my take. I'm happy to see him in this space with these characters at the school and those original characters, or even those characters that are people of color that they've brought in to tell the story with him. The characters that they race bent, I don't necessarily love, but I will give you a point. Colman Domingo as Norman Osborn is fucking cool. Yeah. So I can't really hate on
like that one. I don't mind that there's some. I'm just surprised how.
Yeah, like Connors and
some. I just also find some decisions kind of. Like example, the one I find the
Can you make it quick though? Because
of course, the one I find the weirdest, which is ironically not the biggest change. I hate Doc Ock's voice.
That's not even race bend or gender bend. You're just complaining about a voice actor.
Oh yeah, no. Choice of coaching a person. He's not menacing. He sounds like a nerd who deserves to get beat up.
Dave just wants to complain about a voice actor. We're talking about race.
Hey,
and this guy goes,
I talk about everything that's changed. I'm diverse in my description of what has changed, and we addressed everything that was clear and obvious. We gotta go to the last bit, which fuck you for changing his voice. And that's my tone.
What a weirdo. Ness, anything you want to tell the people while we sign off?
Oh yes, movie club. Unfortunately, due to Valentine's Day events, we unfortunately couldn't do Valentine's Day.
The 16th edition, right.
There's just too much going on. Doesn't work. So stay tuned for the Oscar watch party, which is going to be happening March 2nd.
Awesome.
Ooh, I'm going to post.
2nd.
Yeah, we're going to post it on the socials. So
okay.
at MTL Movie Club.
Bong bong. You guys heard it here. Make sure you jump in, tune in, follow on socials and all that jazz. We're going to be back with another edition soon. We have a lot of fun doing the show, as we say every week, and we hope that you guys will have a chance to jump in and check us out, and tell a friend. I realize I never say that to people, but like, if you're enjoying what we're doing, and tell a friend. And also shout outs to all the people that jumped on and gave me clips this week. I'm hoping I can do something like that more often, because that was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a good initiative.
Yeah, because I figured like it was just such a big moment that a lot of people had things they probably wanted to say. But I might ask you guys to ask your friends too, if you guys know people, just quick record like, what were your thoughts on this, blah blah, and then we can wax poetic about it. Just seems like a fun way to include the listeners and some of the fans and stuff like that. But we'll be back with another one soon. And shout outs to Skinny and Jaws D. They couldn't be here this week. You know how Jaws says it, Transformers Slag and the Toy Armada. You can check them out on YouTube. Just search them. And we'll be back with another one. And don't forget to follow at MTL Movie Club, and to follow at GeekCypha, and to follow all our socials, which are on the screen and also in the description if you are listening to the episode. We'll be back with another one soon. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Bye.